I've been with the Columbia Fire Department for 28 years. 2 years as a volunteer, and now 26 as a career member. The 28 years are full of good memories and haunting memories. As an administrative fire chief, the fires we deal with don't make us sooty, and we don't necessarily sweat all that much, and we're not wearing fire gear. We're dealing with people's needs. And I had a firefighter come to my office after he attempted suicide, and I didn't deal with it right. And I'm not saying I was the only one responsible, but that weekend he shot himself and killed himself. That pointed out that I didn't have the tools, nor should I be expected to have the tools that were needed to solve problems like that. The way I faced the troubles and the hauntings were to be more busy, immerse myself in my job. So in May 2023, we had a horrible incident where at an apartment fire, a firefighter perished. And that firefighter was from a neighboring agency, so there was a lot of animosity between our departments. We recognized that several firefighters were not going to do well on their own, and we were able to get them in a struggle well program to help them address problems that they needed to look at. Firefighters are typically very type A, problem solvers, no nonsense, I don't need help type people. But we're in such a state that they welcome the opportunity. I have to admit I was a little skeptical. And at the end of the week, I was amazed at the reflection they shared and the progress in a week's time that they seem to have made. Buried in paperwork and buried in all those administrative fires, it still took some time for me to accept that I needed to attend one of the programs. And one thing that the Struggle Well program showed me that was hard for me to accept at first was that the first and most important cornerstone of doing what I loved and what I feel like I'm drawn to do, which is to help others, is to help oneself.
And it gives us permission again to take care of me, because I could just tell you point blank, right now, I just need peace and quiet. And I can respect that.
Despite the trauma I had seen, the problems I had tried to fix, I did not pay attention to my needs. And Struggle Well helped give not only practical, but thought-guiding ways to address that. Hearing that in Struggle Well was like the sun suddenly coming out from behind a cloud. It was a new frame of needing to make space in my life. I've carried that as a theme in really everything I do. Struggle Well identified ways of owning your morning, and one of those was to list 3 things that you're grateful for. Starting out the day that way changes everything. I write them on the mirror intentionally so that my children and my wife can see them. 1, so they know where my heart is, but 2, so they know and that the problems in life are real. What we can do is learn how to walk through them, how to struggle well through them, and that we don't need to do that alone, that we have family, we have loved ones, and we have friends around us and co-workers. So I do it to be an example. Of course, like I realized long ago at the fire and with the firefighter who took his own life, I don't have all the answers. Struggle Well gives us that space to see possibilities, to see value that we may not have seen. The Struggle Well program should be the first class someone takes in their long list of classes of leadership. I've seen a dramatic change, not only in my personal life, but also at work. Struggle Well is about turning perspective, and it's remarkable. Though we're pounded with negativity and negative thoughts and reactions of fight or flight, it allows us to take a breath and see that there can be joy too, and is joy. Circumstances don't necessarily going to change, but the way we live in them can change. And that has everything to do with the kind of tools that Struggle Well provides.